Hello and welcome to the Restricted Area Podcast, where we break down the week in NBA and WNBA action. I am your host, Alex Perez, joined by co-host Logan Hatfield. How we doing?
We are doing well, doing well. Coming up post NBA draft talk. I'm excited. I'm excited to get going. There's also a lot going on around the associations, plural, right
For
now.
sure.
So definitely want to talk about a lot of that. Just can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, definitely an exciting time in pro basketball. A lot going on with off-season stuff, and then in season with the WNBA. So, really exciting time for basketball fans. Um, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. Lots of fireworks this week. What stood out to you, Logan?
Absolutely. First thing that stood out to me was the fact that Charlotte was able to get off of LaMelo Ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards getting paired up in Minnesota is definitely going to be an interesting pairing. I think that especially with losing Naz Reid, that Timberwolves team might average 140 points a game, but give up 240 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be an interesting offense coming out of Minnesota there. But honestly, I'm kind of shocked about how little Minnesota had to give up to get Ball.
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of I'm hesitant to say that Minnesota won this trade. I just feel like Charlotte was never going to go anywhere with LaMelo Ball as the franchise player, but uh, it's a win for them to be able to move on from him. I just don't think that was a good fit. However, I just don't think they got enough. LaMelo Ball still is an extremely talented player. I just don't think Charlotte was able to get the return that they wanted for him, but they were going to trade him to the best offer available, and it seems that Minnesota was who provided that.
Yeah, 2033 unprotected pick. It's not moving me that to have it that far out is just wild.
It's like an
Uh,
11-year-old.
yeah, how Minnesota made that happen, I'll never know. Shout out to them and that front office. That's kind of what I wanted to get to. The first reaction question I really had was Charlotte was kind of competitive last year. Is the fit? Why you think they pulled the plug on it so early?
Yeah, I do think it's a fit thing. LaMelo Ball is someone who could score in bunches and is going to sell a lot of jerseys, but I don't think that that's necessarily what Charlotte needs right now. I think they need a lot of stability, and I think that starts with making a move like this and kind of shifting their focus because obviously they've been trying to angle towards a younger core for a while now, and I just think timeline wise, I don't think they saw LaMelo Ball fitting in with that anymore. So they want to kind of start back from the ground up, build the team around what they have now. My only concern is, do they have a real franchise player at this point?
Right. I don't
Um,
think they do.
I really don't know. I mean, I don't think Con Knipple is a franchise player. As good as his rookie year was, I don't think he's someone you can build a team around.
They're way under the cap as it is right now, I believe. So I think there's definitely some moves that they can make in this offseason. Whether Charlotte is the destination players want to go to, we'll have to see. But it's not looking great right now.
No,
And
no.
LaMelo Ball, I like the fit, but he could be a distraction for sure. There were just definitely things that outside of basketball that you were concerned with. So I guess it makes sense to get out as soon as you can. The other thing I wanted to bring up with trading Randall and now Reed, uh, I think those were big concerns for them in the playoffs. They're post play and such. So with losing that and not really having as much of a defensive identity anymore, what does the identity look like for this team in your opinion?
It's like I said. I mean, they're probably going to shoot 53s a game next season. Anthony Edwards is not afraid to shoot the ball, and LaMelo Ball absolutely isn't afraid to shoot the ball. So I think that that's going to be the identity of the team is they're going to play fast and they're going to shoot the ball a ton. Um, they're going to get a rebound and look to immediately push the floor and shoot it through within the next 5 seconds. Like you're going to see some fast-paced basketball coming out of Minnesota coming up just because that's what they have on the roster now.
Yeah.
Um, and on the flip side, uh, what's going on in Brooklyn? Like what do they do now?
Yeah, I saw somebody tweet that that team probably doesn't even make the NCAA tournament. So it's rough out there in Brooklyn. Don't really know what's going on there because MPJ and Randall are guys who have had attitude problems and shown that on multiple teams. So I don't know if that's the kind of guys you want to pair up. I mean, Brooklyn, I don't think is obviously looking to be competitive right now, but are you even really trying to put anything out there with those two?
Exactly. Exactly. And while we are in the mood of talking about trades, there was another trade that happened this week. I don't know if it
There
made
was a
as much
small one.
national news.
Yeah,
Um, Tyler Hero gets shipped off to the Milwaukee Bucks as the centerpiece of this trade, while Bobby Portis gets moved to the Miami Heat. What are your
huge.
thoughts on that? And what do you think that those? How do you think those players will impact their new teams?
The untouchable Tyler Hero is finally moved on. Uh, it's incredible to see. I am so excited for Milwaukee. The hometown kid returns home, something we've all been looking for. So I'm really excited to see how Milwaukee turns this around. Bobby Portis, do it all guy. What else can you ask for in a trade? I think both sides really won this. And yeah, like you said, the centerpieces, it's big time.
And the secondary item for Miami to receive was one Giannis Antetokounmpo. So how does he impact this Miami Heat lineup? And what are your thoughts on the outlook? Because my thought is, like the opposite of Minnesota, Miami now might score 80 points per game and give up 40. So, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, is he even the best Antetokounmpo brother? That's the real question. Don't know if
Costas is pretty good.
they got the right one, but yeah, I just don't understand this move at all. I don't know how much say Giannis had in like the final destination of which package like they accept or whatever, but it just seems like a lateral move, if not a worse one.
Yeah.
I don't see how uh, this is any better because the bench is definitely terrible in Miami now, and the coaching is better, the weather is better. That's about all I got though. It's a lateral move, if not a worse one. If you want to be competitive and you're tired of losing, why would you make this decision?
I don't know. I mean, I think like they Miami has been trying to make that splash, either signing or trade, for the last 8 years. I think it started probably with Bradley Beal and has just like catapulted into this now. But I just don't. I don't understand mortgaging everything for Giannis. I get that that's what you're gonna have to pay to get him on your team, but is it worth sacrificing like everything once your starting five gets off the court? Like I don't know.
If
That's
you had the pieces around him, it would be a completely different story. But I don't think anybody's worried about guarding uh,
Andrew Wiggins.
Giannis, and Bam outside of the paint. I don't care how many points Bam scored. I don't think Giannis being there to pack up the paint is going to help him score 83 again. So, uh, don't really know what the plan was there.
You're
I don't
right.
really even know if anybody won this trade, if I'm being honest with
I,
you.
yeah, I think the only thing that I'm going to be concerned about, and by the way, you're right, Bam isn't going to score 83 again. He's scoring 85 next time, so keep your
My
eye out
bad.
for that.
My bad. All right.
But I'm more interested to see how Milwaukee pivots from this. They made some interesting lottery selections with Braden Burries and Nate Ament, but what what do they do now? Do they try to move on from Hero? Do they hold on to him? Where does Kasparis Yakuchonis fit into this? Is Jaime Jaquez Jr. going to get minutes? They just have a lot of guys that are like 83 overalls on that team right now. Um, so I just don't know where they go from here.
Yeah, if Jaime Jaquez is not getting minutes on that roster, somebody needs fired. I feel bad for him because he seemed like all in all a Miami type of guy, but you know, those are the breaks sometimes.
Yeah,
Tyler Hero, I do think he ends up getting moved as untouchable as he has seemed for the past few seasons. I think Detroit really has their eye on him, and I think that would be a great addition if they're able to get that done. Detroit team that just added Isaiah Joe, I believe. So they may be making some moves. They still got to sign Jalen Duren, but they maybe
do
making some moves
they?
around him. I
Do
mean,
they?
that's a good question, but one we will talk about as free agency goes along. My other question immediately after this Giannis trade happened, you'd rather have the Celtics offer that was pitched out there, right?
Well, that brings up my other question: Is
Okay.
Jalen Brown going to get traded?
I feel like at this point you have to put him out of his misery and trade him because he's been in trade conversations for what seems like a decade now, and it's just
But
unfair.
where? Where does he go?
There's not a good spot for him if we're being honest right
Oklahoma
now.
City.
Maybe put him down there in Portland. I don't know what they give up for him, but that would be fun. How
Flip Drew
sold is
Holiday
Denver
back to
on
Boston.
Cam Johnson? See what Denver can do.
Oh God, I would hate that if Jalen Brown
Yeah,
ended up at Denver. Oh no.
I think they could make that happen, but at this point, if you're shopping him pretty much every off season, I feel like you should do him the decency of actually trading him.
I
But
know a team that just traded their star player uh, to Minnesota and now can use that. So if he wants to go to Charlotte,
that is a
they
very
have an
good
opening.
point. I
He
could see
could. I
that
mean,
happening.
he's expressed wanting his own team. That would be his own team, and
Oh, for
he.
sure.
I think he would average 40 points a game playing in Charlotte.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it would definitely be coming out party. He's shown this past season that he could be the number one guy. So hopefully he finds a spot where he's appreciated because it certainly hasn't been in Boston. For me, I would definitely have rather had that Celtics package, but I don't know. Maybe Jaime Jaquez is the real deal, and I'm missing something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess to answer your question, I if I'm the Bucks at this point, I don't know because I think that they are just trying to reroute everything and blow it up. I don't think that trading for a win now player like Jalen Brown would be the best move. I mean, because at best, Jalen Brown for Giannis makes that team as good as they were, if not worse.
Fair.
So I'm not too sure if that would have been the best offer. I just think Milwaukee needed to get him off the roster and get that saga behind them.
Yeah, that was my other like immediate question, kind of similar to you. Like, where did the Celtics go after missing on Giannis? Because they need help in the post. Jalen Brown may be on his way out. Is there an answer to fix the problems that they've been having?
It's hard. I think it would have to be something drastic, and something that comes to my mind is a possible like a sign and trade kind of deal. If the Pistons really are getting that tired of Jalen Duren and they want a star guard, that could be a move that gets made right there as a Jalen Duren for Jalen Brown type swap. I don't know why that just came to my head, but all of a sudden now it's all I can think about. So um,
I mean, I feel like with their urgency to get Jalen Brown traded and their need for desperation, really, for a big man, I feel like you can make that trade and
yeah,
kind of win a trade, honestly. Still Jalen Brown away from them while giving up a decent, but obviously not equal talent in a big man because they have some serious needs in the post.
yeah, and I think it also has something to do with the fact that there might be a culture shift coming in Detroit following the trade of Isaiah Stewart, having him get sent down to Memphis, which is another just he kind of went from one situation to the other, I guess.
Yeah.
And as Memphis is trying to clean up their image and fix that culture and trade John Morant, currently another player who is on the trade block and actively like nobody wants him. Um, Isaiah Stewart is essentially just filling in his role in
Yeah.
Memphis as the quote unquote culture guy. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of trade talk going on right now, and to see if any of it will come to fruition is what I want to know. But the last point I wanted to bring up does not revolve around coaching or does not revolve around trades. It all revolves around coaching. Dusty May jumping ship from a national championship team to go coach the Dallas Mavericks. So uh, he's surely hoping he doesn't follow the usual trend of college coaches jumping to the NBA.
Yeah.
Makes me think of guys like John Beilein, who also left Michigan to coach the Cleveland Cavaliers. So how that went. Two coaches who've ever done it had a winning record, and one of them was Billy Donovan. So if that gives you any kind of scope of what the history here looks like, um, it's an uphill battle for Dusty. But I do think it's something you're going to see more often with how the college game has come. I think you could see guys like John Shire and Todd Golden, Nate Oates, TJ Otzelberger leave their college teams to possibly go for NBA opportunities. And I'm even going to go as far to say a guy like Mark Pope, if he's someone who can turn that Kentucky team into a national contender and deal with the constant overhaul of roster that he has been dealing with the last 3 years,
Yeah.
there's no reason why he can't be an NBA coach. So I think that you're going to see more and more coaches jump ship. But what are your expectations with Dusty May in his first couple of years in Dallas, especially considering that he drafted one of his former players ninth overall?
Yeah, the conversation has definitely changed in that regard because it used to be it's a totally different world, the NBA. Now it's not. You're basically you have pro athletes in the college game right now, and you're dealing with them as such because you're paying them like such, and you're dealing with the egos and the contracts and all that now. So it's really 1A, 1B at this point. So I do agree with you that those jumps will probably be made in the coaching ranks for sure. Do I expect much? No. Like you said, two out of hundreds of people who have done this have succeeded. So uh, don't say Dusty May is a bad coach because he's not. But this is just a really tough transition to make, especially with the uncertainty of the Dallas roster at this point. Uh, don't really know what it looks like, who's healthy, who's not. So not expecting much. I'm sure other people will, but I feel like that's a little unfair and disingenuous to think he's going to be some great coach that's going to lead them to a top three record or something in the first year. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean the turnaround that he was able to make at Michigan, right, in his time there, led Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. Like he's no chump. He can definitely
Right.
coach. I just think like your team is kind of like centered around obviously Cooper Flag, but it's a situation of like how does he fit Kyrie Irving into this equation, and what does he do with that roster that's been constructed for him? Because I feel like outside of a few guys, it's a lot of guys that are like kind of like tier 2B, 2A kind of guys. I don't know. I just think with the roster that he had at Michigan, he was just kind of like poaching everyone's transfers and doing this and that. I think he's going to have a hard reality check his first couple of years. And I think for him, this is a pretty low risk move. If I'm being honest, he gets a couple years of NBA money and he flames out. He can just go back and coach a low level power four team again if he wants to. Like I'm hard pressed to believe Rutgers wouldn't offer him if he flames out in Dallas, or I'm hard pressed to
For
believe he
sure.
couldn't get a job at South Carolina. So I think I think that this is probably a smart move for him, to be honest, and something that I think you're going to see a lot more of in the coming years.
Oh yeah, go get your money for sure if you could do that. I just don't know if it was the right move for Dallas, as a team that just fired Nico, is looking for answers after trading Luca, obviously trying to see what's next in that stage and going to the collegiate ranks for your coach. Don't know if that's the brightest idea, but we'll see how it pans out.
They should have tried to get Doc Rivers.
That's right. Darvin Ham was right there. I don't know why they didn't go for it, but you know, missed opportunities.
I guess.
But now it is time to move on to our power rankings, where this week we're ranking our top three winners from the NBA draft. Logan, what you got?
Yes. So I want to shout out a couple honorable mentions first. I want to give an honorable mention, unfortunately, to the San Antonio Spurs. I think they went into this draft with one focus point, and that was building a front court around Wembanyama. Uh, kind of hard to do that when your most traditional power forward is Harrison Barnes. So they went out and got Jaden Quaintance and Terrace Reed in the first round, which two guys that I think are going to serve their needs well. Guys that can help clog the paint. Jaden Quaintance, injury concerns aside, is an athletic freak. Should he return at some point this his rookie year, I think we can get a good intro look. And then also getting someone, Terrace Reed is a win now player, coming from UConn as a senior. I think that they had a pretty solid draft. The Clippers are an honorable mention for me as well. They would have made my top three if they drafted Darius Acuff, but they drafted Keaton Wagler instead. I'm not saying anything negative about Keaton Wagler. I just think that Darius Acuff is going to lap him in the NBA. And I also want to shout out the Utah Jazz for not messing up and drafting the obvious choice of Darren Peterson. They're building something special over there in Utah, and it's going to be a pretty fun roster there. You got guys like Peterson, Ace Bailey, Keontae George, Jaren Jackson Jr., Laurie Markkinen. There's a lot going on. They're going to see if they're going to keep Walker Kessler, but that's going to be a fun team for a while. So getting into my top three, number three, is the Golden State Warriors, strictly because, like kind of like Utah, they made the obvious choice. When your team is built around Steph Curry and what his age is, he's got a couple years left of playing meaningful basketball. So let's pair him up with players that can play right now. Axel Lindenborg is a player that can slot in, play right now, and he can average 12 points a game this first season. I don't expect anything less from him. And I think that's going to be a solid fit for the Warriors. And he's someone that they can probably build around for a few years. And then when the rebuild is inevitable, he can be a really, really strong trade chip that they can move on from. Number two, it's going to be a little bit biased, but it's hard to find many teams that had a better draft than Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
If you ever get tired of getting your shot blocked by a 7'1" Chet Holmgren, get ready to get your shot blocked by 7'3" Ade Mara. He will come off the bench and do the same exact thing. I think that his player profile is so similar to Chet. It's just he's not as good of a 3-point shooter, but I have no reason to believe that can't improve once he spent some time in the Mark Daigneault development chamber. Followed up with also drafting Bennett Starts. You just moved on from Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe as of 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And so you do need some shooting and some playmaking. And now I think what this does is it gives a chance for Cason Wallace to develop strictly as a shooter. Cason Wallace doesn't have to become a primary playmaker anymore because Bennett Starts can already do that. Bennett Starts, similar to Axel Lindenborg, is a win-now player. He's coming off of his senior season at Iowa, so he can come in and immediately contribute to winning, which is, I think, why OKC made this pick. And then lastly, getting Otega Oweh in the second round. As a Kentucky fan, I'm a bit of a homer here, but Otega Oweh fits exactly what the Oklahoma City Thunder are looking for in any player that they draft. Someone who can get buckets and also clamp up someone on the other end. So now I just think, like, even in garbage time, players are going to get annoyed when they're switching off from Dort to Wallace to Caruso to now Otega Oweh. It's not going to be fun if you're a perimeter player on the other team. But that brings me to my number one draft, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies. I think that the Memphis Grizzlies knocked this draft out of the park. Like I said, they're actively trying to move off from Ja Morant, and they drafted their next franchise player in Cam Boozer, who, in my humble opinion, is the best player in the draft. I think Cam Boozer. I think that the Wizards and the Jazz both made the right picks for where their teams are at. Like, I don't think a team like the Wizards could have used Cam Boozer, considering that Anthony Davis is likely to suit up for them this year. Mm-hmm. Just probably wouldn't have given Boozer the chance to develop he needs. There's no one in front of Boozer in Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. is gone. That's Boozer's team at this point. Like, that's his team, and I think that they're going to set him up to be the guy in Memphis. Does he stay in Memphis his whole career? I find that hard to believe, but I do think that he's going to be the franchise guy. And then for them to also go out and get Kareem Lopez at 21, that's a high value pick for them. That's something that he was getting mocked in the early 10s to possibly teens, but they were able to get him at 21, which I think is great value. And then getting an instant impact offensive player in Richie Saunders early in the second round. I think Memphis knocked this draft out of the park. Easily had the best draft for me.
I love that. Memphis definitely made my honorable mention. Boozer is a great player, and Saunders is a microwave. I can't wait to see how he impacts scoring in the NBA. But the one that was just above them for me was the Spurs. As you said, they hit the big need, which was that post. JQ adds that athleticism around Wemby. Terrace Reed is just an experienced winner, and if you have a guy like that, where you kind of don't have to teach what winning looks like, because they've already had that young experience of going to the finals and things. Guys who are experienced with winning coming in and already having that mindset is a great thing to have. And Malik Brown, somebody I was really high on in college. I'm excited to see how he does at this level. Obviously, a little undersized, but from Duke, they know how to play. They know how to be professional. They know what a winning mindset looks like. And again, they're going to bring that to the Spurs franchise that's all about that winning mindset. And then for me, the second team is the Warriors. I love Yaxel right now. I think this was a home run pick for them, and I love him for the future, for post Steph, because Steph, as much as we want him to stay forever, I don't know that he has many more years left. I don't know that he wants many more years left, especially if they're not competitive. This helps maybe keep him a little longer, but for the future, I think they're looking good. Like you said, if it's a trade piece or if this is their cornerstone for the future, who knows? But I like what they're doing here. And the rich get richer with my number one. OKC just keeps getting it done. Uh, Ade Mara, don't know how 11 teams or whatever passed on him. That stinks. Bad decisions. Sturts, great. Away, just Case and Wallace cloned, basically. So shout out to them for continuing that insane defense. Hardenstein, probably on your way out. Sorry about you, buddy. But
I
what
don't
do
know
you
about
think?
this year, but next year probably, yeah.
You don't
I
you
think
don't
they're
think
going to
this
try and
year?
hold on to him.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. What you think the starting lineup looks like?
I do think I think that in a situation like what they're in now, um, obviously I trust Sam Presti. He's already moved off of two of his guys, uh, but I feel like that's something that's like, oh, we don't have Isaiah Joe to shoot threes anymore. Well, Jared McCain is still on the team,
Yeah,
as is Bennett Sturts now. So they got their shooters, and that's not really going to be a problem, especially if Case and Wallace can continue to develop as a 3-point shooter. Um, I think that if they're going to make a splash move, it's going to involve trading Lou Dort.
okay,
Obviously, Shea has made it clear that he doesn't want Lou Dort to get traded, but I don't think your team loses too much if you replace Lou Dort in the starting lineup with Case and Wallace. I think he's ready. He proved it. He started in the NBA Finals before, and he has proven starting experience in the NBA. So I'd just be I'd be wary of trading someone like Dort, who you know exactly what you're going to get with him every game. But I do think that if a player is going to get moved, it likely will be him. Hartenstein, I think they're going to try to ride it out with him one more year, possibly renegotiate a more team-friendly contract, and then move off of him after the next season ends to give guys like Thomas Sorber and Ade Mara more minutes. But again, I think that's why, like, you see a guy like Thomas Sorber sit out his rookie year, right? He probably
right.
wasn't going to play, but now he's going to get more opportunities to play slowly as this team develops. My question is, what do you do with a guy like Nikola Topic? There's just so much going on that
Too much
roster,
depth. Yeah.
and there's exactly so. I think you could see like not a cost shedding move, but possibly a roster size shedding move, like you've already seen, where maybe
Mm-hmm.
Dort and Topic get moved somewhere. Um, but I could see a lot of teams that could use a player like Lou Dort. Like I think the Los Angeles Lakers would love to have Lou Dort on that roster.
Absolutely,
Um,
100%. Yeah.
so I think that there's real smoke that Lou Dort could possibly be suiting up for another team next year. I think Hartenstein, it's possible, but it's a lot less possible than Lou Dort.
If you had to pick Lou Dort or Hardenstein to get traded, who would you prefer?
Given that they both will probably not be on the roster by the end of next season, I'd probably say Lou Dort because I saw a lot out of Hartenstein his second year in OKC that made me think like he is definitely like he's something that we need. He's a bruiser and he is going to get 10 rebounds a game. Like that is going
Mm-hmm.
to happen. So I think that I would rather keep Hartenstein for now. We have enough perimeter defense with Case and Wallace, Jalen Williams, and even SGA. So I don't think that Lou Dort will be sorely missed just from the fact that he's going to annoy whoever he's guarding. But I do think that it would make more sense to move off of him and see what you can get in return, and then try and ride it out one more time with Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, Hardenstein went from last year really improving and being kind of a thorn in Wemby's side to the year before where it seemed like he was unplayable at times in the playoffs. So a huge jump for him. So yeah, I understand you saying Dort over Hardenstein there. But yeah, we will go ahead and move on to our WNBA Pick'em, where
Yes.
we pick our winners for the biggest games in the W this week. There's only one that matters this week. It is Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Prime Video, the Commissioner Cup Championship. It's the Aces at the Liberty. Who you got?
I feel like we've been super high on the Aces this
Mm-hmm.
year. Um, but I think that this is going to be kind of one of those similar things. to where you see the in-season tournament and you don't exactly expect who's going to win it, especially like with this year for the NBA being the exception. The Knicks they swept the trophies this year,
They
so good
did.
for them. But we've also seen the Lakers win the in-season tournament, and we've
That's
seen the
true.
Milwaukee Bucks win the in-season tournament. So you never kind of know. So I'm actually, by that logic, I'm going with the New York Liberty.
All right, I like it. I think the Liberty are going to try to copy the Knicks and also win this, and that is also who I have. The Liberty, they just beat the Aces on Tuesday by 11. Sabrina's back. The team is very scary right now. Uh, they're also below the Aces in the standings, so they'll be hungry. And the Aces are marred with injury right now, and whatever's going on again with Kennedy Carter, injury or not, they're not playing her. So lots of injuries, and then Kennedy Carter, whatever that's got going on. Too much firepower for the Liberty. I think they win this one.
So I think the Liberty might honestly copy that Knicks blueprint. It's possible that the Liberty could win it all. I'm just saying.
They're definitely the deepest team, I would say,
Absolutely.
If Sabrina could stay healthy. That's
Absolutely.
just the one thing that's worried me because she hasn't played many games at all. But we will go ahead and move on to our shooting star, where we pick our baller of the week. Logan, who you got?
I mean, I feel like we've been avoiding talking about it, but I feel like I have to go with Marina Mabry.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened? She ties the all-time scoring record for a WNBA individual game with a 53 bomb. Uh, I'm impressed. That was awesome. I got the
Yeah,
notification from the real app. It was Marina Mabry 50 bomb, and that kind of like made me lock in for a second there. Uh, so shout out to the Toronto Tempo making some early history as a franchise. Super cool for them. And yeah, Marina Mabry, 53 points on 79% true shooting, shooting 9 for 18 from three and 17 for 28 from the field. That's unreal efficiency uh, for a 53-point game, which is just, I don't know, that's extremely impressive to me. And for a player like Marina Mabry, who's averaging 21, 3.5 and 3.5, really having a coming out party, um, this is impressive. And I mean, I we're saying baller of the week, and you can go even further. She had 23 points 3 days ago against the Dream, not to
yeah,
mention 37 points on 9 threes at the Connecticut Sun. So she's hooping right now and making a strong case for her place in the league.
for sure. Yeah, deserves all the flowers. Definitely would have been mine, but I don't want to copy yours.
Yeah,
So shout out to Marina Mabry, the thorn in everybody's side. She showed why she can get it done on both sides because it's not just the defense. That girl is a shooter. But mine, since I can't have Marina Bravery, I will go with Giannis. Finally got out of Milwaukee like he's been wanting to, it seems like, for a while now. Uh, I celebrate anybody who is out from under Doc Rivers or Darvin Ham, so shout out to
yeah,
him. Better coaching, better weather, as I alluded to earlier. Don't know if it's a better situation, but you're in a different one, and sometimes that's really all we need. So shout out Giannis for finally
yeah,
getting that done. But that will do it for this episode of the Restricted Area Podcast. Thank you, Logan, for being on. Follow the
absolutely.
show's YouTube at CX Restricted Area and follow the CX crew on all socials at CX Pod Network. You can follow me on Twitter at The Will Deal and Logan on all socials at Logan H_4. So thanks for listening and watching. And until next week, like Pat Riley's ability to get generational deals done. Be smooth.